Hello friends, welcome back to On Location in Vancouver. I'm your host, Zara Durrani. Today, I'm thrilled to be speaking with someone who has become a true cultural icon in British Columbia. Christopher Gaze is the founding artistic director of Bard on the Beach, one of Canada's most beloved and longest running Shakespeare festivals. With a career that spans decades on stage and behind the scenes, Christopher has brought Shakespeare to life for countless audiences and inspired generations of theater lovers. He's also a celebrated voice artist, actor, speaker, and recipient of numerous accolades, including the Order of British Columbia. As Shakespeare once wrote, "All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players, and few have played their part with such grace, leadership, and lasting impact." Let's go in and speak with Christopher. Hello friends, welcome back to another inspiring and exciting episode of On Location Vancouver, produced with the support of TELUS STORYHIVE. I am here today, wow, I feel like I should be saying a fabulous Shakespearean line to kick off the show, but I'm truly excited to be joined by a cultural icon. Joining me today is the legendary Christopher Gaze. We're here on the stage just before the rehearsals kick off. He is an actor himself. He's been on stage for years. He's a voice actor and also the founding artistic director of Bard on the Beach, one of Canada's most iconic festivals. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and for bringing the lovely Mason.
Mason is here with us, yeah. No, he wanted to come. He wanted to meet you.
Wonderful. Well, I wanted to meet Mason.
Well, he's been doing quite a lot on the stage this year, so he's become quite comfortable here.
This is home. This is Mason's second home.
Yes, in one of our productions this year, Shakespeare wrote one of his plays with a dog, and he's the dog in the play The Two Gentlemen of Verona this year.
Well, let's start from the beginning.
Yep.
I appreciate you taking the time, and that's what I like to do with folks who achieved a lot, accomplished a lot. To start from the beginning, you're celebrating 36 years of Bard on the Beach. How long have you been in Canada, and where did the desire to start this, to share theater, culture, and Shakespeare with Vancouver come from?
I came to Canada, I made a little Instagram of it some months ago, 50 years ago. Arrived here 50 years ago, but I was inspired by, he was a very, very powerful man in the theater, powerful personality, and had a tremendous influence on hundreds, perhaps thousands of theater people at all levels, actors, stage management, producers, and so forth, Broadway, West End, he did it all, and Douglas Campbell. And when I was a young man, I went to theater school, the Bristol Old Vic, I lived in England, I was born there, and I went there at 18. 3 years later, I came out of theater school, and Douglas Campbell had started a theater company in the north of England, and he asked me to be a part of it. So I joined his company, and I was just 21 years old, but it was all ahead of me, and I was reasonably good. So I played, in those days you had to assistant stage manager, make sure the stage was clean and props were in their place, but you were also playing perhaps the leading young man, that kind of thing. And
so you had to really love what you were doing, to do the cleaning, to make sure everything is... Did you know from a young age that you wanted to perhaps... Because I think they call it the bug. You know, the bug to perform or to create or to communicate an idea. And when you're saying, you know, especially Shakespeare, all the movies, everything, I feel, comes down to the inspiration from the work that Shakespeare created. Like, where did the love for Shakespeare come from?
Well, ever since I was a boy, as just growing up in England, I always felt that I just wanted to get on a stage. I think from the age, I remember my father said to me, he had quite a big business. W.H. Gaze and Sons was pretty big in England. And I said to him, Daddy, how do I get into your company? He said, well, you have to go to university and study civil engineering. And I felt, when he said that, a great wall suddenly dropped between me and that. I just thought, I just can't do that. I cannot do that. And a lot of people struggle with what they want to do in life. I didn't really struggle. I just thought, what am I going to do? And I was a boy, like 10 or 11. I want to be an actor. Because I'd seen my parents in amateur dramatics and seen the colored lights and the big curtain. This stage doesn't have a curtain, but in the old days, the proscenium arch, big velvet curtain. And it was all so exciting. And that's what I wanted to do. And my parents put no barrier between me and that desire to be on the stage. So I said to my father at 18, I want to leave school and I want to go to theater school. And he said, well, we'll help you through theater school, but then you're on your own. Because as you've inferred, Zara, this is not a get-rich-quick job. That theater company that I joined up north with Douglas Campbell, yes, it was a long time ago, it was 1973, was £18 a week, £18 a week. So this is something, if you have a passion, then you just do it. And that's what we did. You don't ask how much work it is, you just do it. It's part of me. I mean, you can probably see it the way I am, kind of the way you are too. Yeah, I'm very comfortable here on a stage.
It feels like home. It feels
like home.
Yeah, but I can also hear your passion, and I feel like sometimes one can have the passion, have a dream, but when it comes to the action, that can be missing. So what I'm hearing, and obviously what you've created, is you had the desire, and then your parents mentioned that, okay, we'll support you through this, but if you're gonna, you can't lean on us. You're going to have to turn this into success. You will have to do the work. You will have to do the footwork. So how old were you when you came to Canada?
I did 2 years up north with that company I mentioned, and I was, in May 12th, 1975, I turned 23. And because Douglas said to me, he said, he had a big booming voice, Christopher, dear, you're going to have to leave our theater company. You can't stay here forever. I said, well, I've got an audition with the Royal Shakespeare Company. He said, oh, don't worry about them. He said, I've been to Canada. We've started the great Stratford, Ontario Shakespeare Festival. He'd been part of the creation of that with his mentor, Sir Tyrone Guthrie. And he said, you should go there. You can do something there. And he could tell that I had an interest in business, entrepreneurship, and the theater itself. That combination is really what I have. And I think, if you really wanted to sort of dig deep, is how perhaps I've been successful, because I understand that you can want this as much as you want it, with all that passion, but if you don't know how to invite people in to buy a ticket, it's not going to work.
The marketing and the business part is just as important. What does BARD mean to you personally today, after 3 decades, and of course many decades of you being a performer?
It's always hard to be proud of things for too long. Pride comes before a fall. And so I'm very cautious about that. I just, but nevertheless, from time to time, right now, you think, well, this is pretty great. This is pretty great. But what it means to me is that we are an important icon In this city, perhaps in the province, people come from all over to see. This is an experience here, Bard. You get the backdrop. You're protected by these gorgeous, gorgeous tents that have been specially made. But you can have a picnic beforehand. You can meet your friends, hang out with people that you want to be with, or have a special moment with someone you want to be with, and see a wonderful piece of theatre. We have fabulous actors here, directors, and I like to think some of the best theatre people in the country play here and design here and so forth, all the way through. So we employ in a year, what does this mean to me? Employing over 300 people a year, that's a wonderful thing. To have 350 volunteers who come and take tickets and usher people into the theatre, serve tea and coffee and drinks in the concession. They're managed, of course, we have management staff. But there's 350 of them. We're part of their lives. They are part of our lives. This is a community that is just loves and welcomes what we do here. And every time I stand on this stage and welcome 700 people here, it's a marvelous feeling, obviously for me, but for them too. They're proud of what we have created together. If they didn't buy a ticket, this wouldn't exist.
Indeed. Vancouver's a very diverse city, as we know, many cultures, many stories. How would you say Bard has evolved to reflect that diversity, whether through casting, programming, or outreach?
Well, that has been, I think we've achieved that in all the diverse senses that you talk about. Way before there was a big push to make sure that organizations like ours were doing that. So I'm kind of proud of that. We were just, I think, there earlier. Nevertheless, you need, when you're in the audience, both here and anywhere else, with a cultural institution like this, music, theatre, whatever, you need to see people like you. So, of course, we now make sure that happens from a casting perspective, that the diversity on our stage is robust, and very clearly we are part of the community, which I mean. And we know what that is. The richness of Vancouver from an immigration point of view is extraordinary. Needs to be reflected on stage, and it is. From an audience perspective, it's harder to do. We've been quite successful at it. You must always strive to do more. I mean, we did a beautiful production just before the pandemic, of All's Well That Ends Well, South Asian production of the time when the split was happening in India and in the late 40s. And we were able to make All's Well sort of parachute into that time.
I love that.
Yeah.
Too bad I was living in Paris then, but that sounds amazing.
It was amazing. It was amazing. And the king, as he is in All's Well, then becomes the governor of India. And the complexities of what happened, and the horrors and the tragedies and all the rest of it. Anyway, we couldn't go that far down there, but we could touch on it. And the cast was largely Indian, South Asian. And we found, as you would imagine, that encouraged a different audience to come. And we see that now. That's sustained itself, both in that from India, as well as the Chinese influences and so forth. But That's what you must do. It has to be reflected here, and you must try to reach into those communities, First Nations too, so that it's all here.
Here, you have an education and outreach program that I would like to talk about,
yeah.
Deeply embedded in the community in Vancouver. How important is it to ensure the arts remain accessible to all, not just to those already familiar with theater?
Yeah. Bard Education brand there that we have created it's a big deal. It's a big part of the portfolio of what we do here. Because if the theatre is just for people my age, then it's not going to last very long. It has to stretch into people your age and younger. And so that's why we open early in June, why we play longer in September, to bring thousands, 10,000 young people here to see the plays. And it can make a heck of a difference in a young life. We also have these programs on these stages that we share with young people, 6, 7, 8, all the way to 18, and then a program just above that, which we call the Riotous Youth, those kids that have aged out at 18. But I loved being on the Bard stage. We do these week-long workshops on these stages. You get to act here, just a little boy, a little girl, and then come and see the show a few days later with your mum and dad. I mean, I was on that stage. It's magic, and it helps. We're not trying to create actors. What we are trying to create is exactly what you and I are doing right now. We're not public speaking. We're speaking to a camera and an audience that will see this behind the camera. But to be able to do what I'm doing right now, and you too, to be able to talk, and communicate, and have thoughts, to public speak. And we all end up public speaking in one way or another. And those children start to learn that. They learn how to work with someone, how to look them in the eyes and tell them that they love them or they don't like them or whatever it is. But all aspects of human emotion, and do it together as an ensemble and start to understand what working together, how great that is.
Let's talk about this season. What's here? Let's talk about this stage, beautiful stage. What's happening here?
Well, we're on the set of Much Ado About Nothing. This is a wonderful, bright, lovely, one of the great comedies of Shakespeare. We've done it many, many times over the years. Every time it's a different production. This is a brand new production. And so it's a beautiful play, and but then the set changes, and we put on The Two Gentlemen of Verona with him, and a bunch of the cast from Much Ado, of course. He just has about 3.
He's the main star. Mason is the star.
He's the star. He's decided to turn his back to the camera. Yeah, but anyway, yeah. So Much Ado, Two Gentlemen of Verona on this stage, and then in the other theatre, the smaller theatre. This is about 700, nearly 750 seats, about 250 over there. So when we fill both, there's 1,000 people there. We have a beautiful Bard village out there where people can mix and mingle, and the buzz is magnificent. It's wonderful. But over there, we've got the complete works of William Shakespeare, abridged, revised again, and I say we, that's a royal we. Mark Chavez, the director, has pretty much rewritten it, kept the bones of the play, but rewritten it to be more contemporary right now, and that's a big success. And The Dark Lady, written by a Canadian actress, playwright, Jessica B. Hill, and it's a little beauty. It's a beautiful play, beautiful production. So we're very proud of this season. People really, really enjoy it. And so here we are this year, and then, God willing, many, many seasons to follow.
Indeed, indeed. So let's talk about next season. I know this season is wrapping up in about another month and a bit.
Yep.
What are your hopes or dreams for next season?
Well, the season actually is chosen. We know what we're doing. We have not told the general public, but we will on closing night. So we're just holding that back as we organize directors and actors who will be part of that. But the hopes and dreams really nestle in trying to find plays that we hope with all our hearts will encourage people to come. We're living in different times for a number of reasons. I think people are unsure with in the world situation at the moment. Don't need to talk about it. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. But it's a different time in the world, and I think this has had an impact. I think also in the pandemic, we learned to be at home, to spend time at home, and television, certainly in my lifetime, and I don't know, the last decade, has just gone like that. So you can stay at home and pretty much watch anything you want. Never used to be able to do that. It was, certainly back in England, it was 4 channels. That's going back some time. But TV...
in my lifetime in Pakistan, we had 2 channels. So don't you worry. I grew up on classic TNT and MGM, black and white, Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy movies, because that's all we had.
Yeah.
That's all we got. It wasn't like, oh, wow, this is your taste for your time. No. I had no option but to watch Gone in the Wind so many times.
Gosh. Yeah, well, there you are. And so everything's turned on its head now. And so the streaming world exists more and more and more and more. And so to go out at night and or a matinee and see a show is expensive, or it seems expensive. And there's a lot to organize with the going out, as opposed to the old days when it was very much part of our lives. Now we really have to think about that. And that has had a huge impact on what we do here. And so, but I mean, you already stated it. The beauty of coming to live anything, in this world, live theater, is something so unusual and inspiring, entertaining. It adds such richness in life instead of just sitting in your living room and watching a screen. This is special. This is special, and people should strive all they can. We try all we can to make it as affordable as possible, but it's worth saving your pennies and saying, hey, we're going to buy a season's ticket to Bar on the Beach or to anything that you think you might have a passion and a delight in. I
want to talk about how you've nurtured educational programs. We've talked a bit about that, and how you're making BART accessible to so many organizations, nonprofits, and BART on the Beach really makes an effort to bring Vancouver, to bring the community here, to have this experience of live theater, of Shakespeare.
Yeah. What we've been able to do always, but especially in more recent years, with people, individuals, supporting, especially the educational wing of what we do, we are able to, if you were a 9-year-old girl and your parents couldn't afford for you to be in a BARD workshop on this stage, You just have to let us know, and you could come for free. For free. So complete access. It's not just for privileged, it's for everybody. Now, that's just one example. If you were in a school in the city or beyond that just didn't have resources to bring people here, young people, they would just apply to us. We can do that free, gratis, and for nothing, because we have foundations and individuals that support us, and we've created that resource so that this is not just a place, oh, it's just for people who can afford it. No, 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 no. Especially from an educational aspect, we can welcome anyone here with complete access and no fee at all. And that's a beautiful thing to be able to do.
That's tremendous.
Yeah, yeah. So very pleased with that. And yeah, Bard Education is a beautiful brand, and hopefully will make a wonderful difference to thousands of young people in our city and beyond for generations to come.
And it's very thoughtful when you're thinking of those programs. So I'm glad that we talked about that. What keeps you returning and being inspired and your energy invigorated year after year?
I think it's because I love it. I have a passion for it. I began it, and you don't want to walk away from it. You want it to go on being successful. And fortunately, I work with phenomenal people. It's always been, I think, a part of me. Try and find a lot of people much cleverer than you are, than I am, to be around you. It's just going to get better, especially if they share the dream. And a lot of us do share the dream of this place.
I would love to hear what you would say to a young performer out there, because your journey is really astonishing, coming here from the UK and having this dream of performing, of sharing stories, communicating with audiences, and now you created Bard on the Beach. What would you say to someone out there who has the desire to whether perform on a stage or just being a creative artist in today's day and age?
I would just say, begin it. Don't stand back. Find a way to be involved. Find other people that you'd like to work with, be with, and they can help you. People want to help each other. And in what I do here, and what I've done in my life, is following my passion. And I just never put it down. I never stopped. I just wanted it to be great. I had a good idea, and I never stopped. So if you think that you would like, in this instance, to be part of the theater, there's lots and lots of ways of being part of the theater. You can be an actor. You can be a producer. You can be a marketing person. You can be a development person, raising money. You can be a box office person. You can be an operations person. Operations in making sure that that people get in and see the show and are safe and all the rest of it. There's so many different ways of being a part of this if you have a passion for it. And it's so great in the world if you can figure out what is your passion. What is it? I think there are other things I could do, but I found this, and I've stayed with it all my life. And I hope that you already do, but I hope that you and the people that follow you will find something special in their lives and just love doing it, because it makes life wonderful.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Christopher. I felt that. I felt everything you shared, and what an icon. I feel really, truly honored to be sitting here, to sharing this time, this space with you, and to share your passion, to hear about your story. One last thing before we let you go.
Yeah.
Is there a line from a play that stands out for you that you'd like to share with us to close out the show?
Joy, gentle friends, joy and fresh days accompany you and your hearts always. More or less from A Midsummer Night's Dream. And thanks, thanks, and ever thanks. And if we shadows have offended, think but this, and all is mended, that you have but slumbered here, while these visions did appear, and this weak and idle theme no more yielding, but a dream. Gentles, do not reprehend. If you pardon, we will mend. And as I am an honest Puck, if we have unearned luck now to escape the serpent's tongue, we will make amends ere long, else the Puck a liar call. So, good night unto you all.